Hey there, welcome back. So, yep, there's my son. If you don't watch any of my other videos, you're not going to know what that's all about, but he tries to photobomb all of them like this. Okay, so it's our turn to do an impulse. I am getting close to a point where I want to start a new campaign. The feedback is reducing, meaning that I'm getting closer and closer. Not quite perfect, but closer and closer, and that's what my goal was. So here we go. We have this core here is this. And then we have this one, which are these blue guys here. So both of these are pretty good. Then we have the first SS Panzer core. This is activating specific divisions. It is not, it's not at all, what was I trying to say? It's not reinforcement. Then we have the another one, and these are the brand new ones, the ones that we haven't even deployed yet. So if I play this card, all I'm doing is deploying one single unit, because the other ones aren't even here. So this is an interesting one. I think I would have been better off getting this next turn. So the fact that I'm getting this today is not going to help me much. Although it does say deploy one reserve unit, and I only do have one, so although it does let me deploy entire divisions. This one is the Fulgren, which I think is the Führer Grenadier. Yep, it is. So I could, anyways. And then this guy here are these guys down here. And of course, this is the crappy card we have to keep in our hands. So I'm just going to put that down. Okay, so these only have ones on them. And remember, we have 3 activation points, right? So, for example, I could deploy this one and get that guy out there. I don't know how valuable that is to us to get one guy out there from a division. So I'm not putting a lot of credit into that right now. Okay, so I was just looking up the, he can provide us a Panzer battalion. So I was looking that up to see if there was maybe a possibility that would help us. The answer is not really, but so let's activate these guys. I want to see if that roadblock is going to turn into anything. So we're going to activate these guys, and we're going to assign 1 RP to it. Now, here's the problem. I think I can assign an RP to them, or I can activate them, but I can't do, it's not both. So if I assign an RP to them, they're not going to remove their disruption marker. And I'm looking at the situation. Yeah, there's definitely a hit unit here. And this guy's actually on a replacement. So this division has been hit pretty hard. So what I'm going to do is I want to get rid of the disruption marker first. So I'm actually going to activate them. So when I activate them, my understanding is I have to roll a die, and if I get a 3 or less, a unit from the reserve is actually going to pop in here. If I get a more than a 3, this just disappears, because we are next to them and we're activating. Now, I need to check, because since we're disrupted, I want to make sure that that still happens, even though we're disrupted. There is a allied sheet that covers this. So right here you could see, so if you look at C there, start of activation, roadblock reserve check. When an active German unit starts adjacent to a roadblock, an Allied supply, or in a VP hex. An Allied supply. Yeah, because it has supply. Sorry about that. It's getting a brain fart there. Okay, so the procedure for this, it says remove a roadblock when German unit starts activation adjacent. And then if you roll a die, if the roadblock was in supply, we roll a die. If the die is less than or equal to the hold value, which is 3, we're going to place an Allied reserve unit in the hex. If it's greater than the hold value, then no reserve unit is available. We don't place a reserve unit. But either way, the roadblock is removed. And then it has like some rules on which reserve unit would get placed. So I'm going to take this chance. So where's our die? I know it's around here somewhere. Oh, it's right. It's way up the top. Okay, here we go. I rolled a 4. What did I get lucky? Okay, so this goes away and nothing happens. And then we get to remove disruption from both of these. That's all they get to do. There's nothing else they get to do. I did not get to reinforce them, but you know what? I can do that tomorrow. That was a primary card, so I'm going to get that card again tomorrow. I still have points left, so I'm going to reinforce with this one. I'm going to add 1 reinforcement point to these blue guys here. Now I could activate to get this one undisrupted, but I think I want to make sure I'm full strength with these guys up front. And so far it looks like I am. I wish I was familiar enough with them that I could just look at them and tell you, but I'm not. This one could use a replacement, and so could this guy who's disrupted, but I'm going to go ahead and just do that one. And that was it for my exciting turn. So I have 4 cards because the Allied Air Power card has taken up one of my cards in my hand, and now it's their turn. So we're going to draw for them, and you can see we have the 8th Corps. They want to deploy. There's nothing to deploy. They're going to expedite Corps reserves. There are no Corps reserves in the next turn for them. They're going to assign 2 RPs. So let's see if that's going to happen. It actually might. This guy, nope. Nope. I think this guy. Oh, by the way, there's some kind of errata I read. See how this guy is 3 strength, and then if you injure him, he's still 3 strength? That's actually supposed to be 2. And then the same is true for the other one, wherever the other one is. So like this one is a 4, and then it goes to a 2. You see that? It actually goes to a 3 instead of a 2. So it's a real stickler of one. So it got transposed, I guess. This one has a 3 on the back when it was supposed to have a 2, and that one has a 2 on the back when it was supposed to have a 3. It would have been nice to be able to order something that fixes that. So here I see 1. This actually hurts because this was a really tough one. There's 1, but remember the rule says that you need to have 2. So there is not 2 injured units on here, so they're not going to do reinforcement. So then the next one just says activate all units in the Corps. So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to draw 3 cards. And there is an actual check you have to go through to make sure they really do activate. They have to be eligible to activate. So you can see here, actually, let me just move the camera. It's this section here. eligible to activate, at least one of the following has to be true. And so if they have a simple 2-to-1 strength advantage against the proximate German unit, then they will activate. Otherwise, they have to be eligible for IP, dispersed, out of contact, in danger of surround, or wandering behind enemy lines. And these guys are like so perfectly positioned, they're not in danger of anything. And that's the first issue. So the only thing that's going to be possible is that they can have double the strength. And we still have this here where it's 3, 6, that's 8 points here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And these guys are no longer able to move, so they don't even have 2-to-1 strength against anybody. So they're not going to activate. That's what the activate step requires. So we're not going to activate them. So I'm going to put my cards back. They are wonderfully positioned, and they're actually quite strong, but they're not strong enough. Because this German division is quite tough. So then they're going to do this event, Tank Battalion, which actually sucks. So Tank Battalion, I think, is going to actually harm us. I think we ran into this card the exact last turn. So it's the Tank Battalion event, not the Tank Battalion combat tactic. That's one thing you have to keep in mind. So we're going to remove a step from a German infantry unit alone in a hex without an IP, or in a town but adjacent to, but not across the river from, a full-strength allied unit. So we're basically going to damage the guy we already healed this turn. So he's going to get damaged again. So that's his turn. So now it gets back to us. We still have a lot of cards at our disposal. We did get some more 1-point cards and a few 2-pointers. So let's do some of the 1-point ones. We might as well, I think, let's just do this and get him deployed. I'm not sure. Like, I'm still not very thrilled about it. I'm thinking I want to keep it for this Panzer Battalion combat action, but I don't know who I would give it to, because it's not like I have a lot of infantry units that are full strength and ready to attack anywhere. So I'm going to just hold on to it for now. I know I keep changing my mind on it. So we can activate the 2P or the layer division, but that's it. That's all this does. And if you look at this, this is the 26th. This is the 2P division. So it's just one stack. And then the layer is just this one guy on top. It's not even, oh, and then there's 2 others here. So this guy on top and those 2 there. So we could activate the layer division, and the reason I'm tempted to do it is because these guys are dispersed, and I think there's an opportunity to blast them. I said that in my head using the Star Wars stormtroopers. Blast them! So that's anyways. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to activate them, and we're going to do the layer division. And yeah, I'm going to play the card, and we're going to be done. Now I want to. I'm checking something, sorry. I'm using the index. Okay, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Fuel shortages. During the supply phase of each day, which we did, and each time you replenish your hand, check all the division cards to see if any of the listed formations lack fuel for the current date. If so, put them out of fuel on all formations and discard the card without drawing another. So then if they're out of fuel, it may not move, retreat, or advance. It may not attack. If it is attacked, the enemy attackers disregard an attacker hit. It lasts throughout the day. They're removed during the end of day phase. And it's cumulative with anything else. And of course we can play. So that was important. I needed to see that because we actually I don't believe we have any out of fuel. Like for example, this one is the 22nd, 24th, and this one's the 23rd, 25th. So we're okay, is what I'm trying to say. But I wanted to make sure I was getting into the discipline of checking for those. And so yeah, just because we drew during the supply phase cards that didn't have out of fuel indicators on them doesn't mean we got off the hook, which I thought was the case. So we're actually gonna pop right in here and take him on. And we're gonna do the layer division. So we're attacking a disrupted unit. He has no zone of control. So I can actually pop in and keep popping. And so you can see here I have zone of control and zone of control. He does have one spot that he can escape, although he can go on top of his own units elsewhere. But I do need to be a little concerned because I could get cut off from supply, but I think I'm going to be okay. We're going to attack him, and that allows me to move this guy this way because I can leave this zone of control because he's not well, no, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. There's two of them there. They are exerting zone of control. Okay, let's just, oh no. What a stupid person. Ay, ay, ay. 2P, 26, 26. I think it looked like that. And this guy was on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and go forward with the attack. They have a minimum chit draw of 2 because they only have 2 steps. They are elite. We have a chit draw of 1, 2, 3, and we have 7 plus only 2 because we're going over a river here. So it's 9 to 2. So that's what, 4 to 1 odds. Okay, so a minimum of 2 chit draw to 3 for us. Am I going to do a combat tactic with this? I don't think so. If I did, I don't know what I would do. So let's just go for it. It's 2 chits and 3 max. So, oh, we got to draw for him. My apologies. No, we don't have to draw for him. So I wrote it in. I verified it again. It's on Board Game Geek. John Butterfield answered a question. If all units are dispersed, the ally does not draw undetected defender. That is, I don't think it's in the rule book, but he did clarify that if all units are dispersed, and the key word being all. So he can't get an undetected defender because he's dispersed, and he can't get in a combat tactic because he's dispersed. So there's no point in drawing a card. There's nothing on that card that can help him. So that's the reason why we're not drawing a card for him. Okay, so we're going to draw 2 with a maximum of 3. Here's 2. 1, 2. Are we greater than or equal to 4 to 1? Yes, we are. We are at 4 and some change. Are we greater than 3-1? Yes. Are we greater than 5-1? No. So we're taking a hit. And I will go ahead and draw a third one. Well, he's disrupted. That means he can retreat 1 hex. So yes, we're going to draw a third one. And what a beautiful one it was. So we're doing 3 hits to them and 1 hit to us. But remember, if they're all disrupted, I mean dispersed, not disrupted, dispersed, the attacker suffers 1 less hit in the hit total. So we get to ignore the first hit because everybody in that stack is disrupted or dispersed. Sorry, I'm going to mix those up all the time. It's my Omaha Beach playthroughs. So, with this being said, he's taking 3 hits. And the 3 hits is more than his pip total, so he's going to retreat. And he wants to retreat this way, and he can, so he will. So he retreats 1 space, but then he can't retreat anymore, and he still has 2 more hits to do. And so he's going to take a hit and take a hit. So we just eliminated 2 units. 2 Utes are out of the game, and that is another victory point for the good guys. Okay, so now I have the option to move in, and I don't know if I really want to. If I did move in, it would only be this guy. I can't move in his whole stack. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and move in, and then he'll move with him. Now, here's my question. Can I do that even though there's zone of control from him? And I think I can. Let me double check that one. That's a little tricky one there. It's tricky to rock a rhyme that's right on time. Advance after combat is on here somewhere. I'm looking at the player aid, and for whatever reason, I can't see it. I see allied advance after combat. Here we go. German, if the attacked hex is vacated and the attackers did not disperse, then advance into the hex is allowed regardless of enemy ZOCs. Yes, that is awesome. So we do get to go regardless of zone of control. So now we moved in, and this guy is in danger of being surrounded. This being the only safe spot for him right here. So we're starting to get the screws on him. And if anything, if I can get the right card, I'm going to get him. But the one thing that hurt me is they made me discard this one, Army Group B. That was my ticket. That was my ticket to get this guy slaughtered. And if he falls, then I got a pathway through again. Then it's not so bad. So these little zones, there is a time period where those zones are no longer needed. What are those called? Boundaries. 11.7. Let me look those up. And the reason I'm looking them up now is because I want to make sure we're initially restricted. And those restriction dates are only from the 16th through the 19th. They're lifted on December 20th, which is today. So we're no longer restricted to stay within our squiggly lines. As far as the allies go, they're only restricted. Those squiggly lines for them only impact where their reserve units get deployed. Once they're deployed on the map, they have no restrictions. Now, there's a whole bunch of rules around the British Corps, which we haven't seen yet, so I don't want to worry about it, but there are some issues there. Now, so the Germans are no longer restricted, and that's actually excellent news. Because now we can start doing our encircling that we were talking about doing. I could maybe encircle the south, for example, get Bastogne, cut off the fuel, and finally get the south to make some momentum. So this division here is going to be my key. to making that happen. Okay, so looking at my action card, we spent 1 point to activate that Lear division. That's it. And this one, we have another one for the red units. Remember, we played one before already. We got another one now. There is another injured red unit, but I don't think I'm going to do anything with that. I'm going to play this one, because this one's another just 1 pointer. And so we can activate, we can deploy a reserve unit, which I don't have, or we can activate the first SSP or the 12th SSP. And so let's look over here. The first is actually right here, and that includes Piper. These guys for sure don't. Those aren't. These are the first. Or at least the top two here are the first. And then the 12th is these three right here. So it's saying I can activate one or the other. That's all I can do. Or I can just activate any one unit. Which is interesting, because I could activate any one unit. Who are these guys? That's right, they're those guys. So if I do the first, I can activate Piper alone, which I don't think does me any good. Unless I want to play a reinforce. Or I'm activating this stack, which is 2, 5, 10 points. I just don't like these. They're not very powerful when you're activating just one. Okay. What will I do? I think I'm going to just keep the card then and use it for combat. Because I don't think activating them does me much. So I'm going to activate these guys, the red. I am not going to reinforce them. I'm going to activate them. Did I do that last impulse? I think I did. So I'm going to hold off. And I'll just activate these guys and get, then I can do the red one next impulse. So this is a simple one. We're just gonna repair whoever over here is damaged. And it's this guy. So he's back up to full strength. All right, so I accidentally put the German discard in the wrong one. And I have 4 cards in my hands. I'm going to draw 2 more, get back to full strength, and it is now their turn. So it is the 5th Corps. They're going to deploy 1, 9, and 5A reserves. Okay, that's not going to happen. They're going to activate the 1, 9, and 5A divisions. So let's see if they qualify to do that. All right, the 5th Corps is still these guys up here. So 1, 1, and then 9, and 9, okay? These will not activate because these are the 2nd Corps over here. And okay, so it's just this pile, and that pile. So now, once again, you just have to check the chart. All right, so is any of them wandering behind enemy lines? No. Are any of them in danger of surround and not in a VP hex? I'm gonna say yes. Well, hold on. If I can somehow get to here, he's surrounded. However, I can't get there. Not in one move. So they're not in danger of surround. One of them's close. Are any of them out of contact? No. Are any of them dispersed? No. Oh, are they eligible for IPs? Yes, they are. So, well, hold on. This one already has one. Yeah, these guys are. They're eligible for an IP here. So they are going to activate. So let's draw 3 cards. And I'm going to sort. Oh, they're going to be doing some offensive stuff here. Okay, so they have a strong attack. Strength of unit stack and other active units is 3 times proximate German unit stack. All active units proximate to strongest qualifying unit. Move into attack, target and attack. Other units in the same core reinforce. Preserve line, protect BP. Okay, so this one's clearly a 6. These guys don't have, let's move the camera up closer. This is a 6. These guys clearly don't have 3 times the strength. And there's nothing in here about elites. Now, these guys have 3, 6, 9, 11 strength, and this dispersed crew is really powerful, so never mind. They don't have 3 times the strength for anything. This is too powerful. This is probably the one weak spot, but they can't get in, so they can do anything. So this card is going to be a bust for them. Nothing's going to happen. Now remember, you're always supposed to follow the order here. So you start with unit number 1 all the way up to 19. And anything outside of that range you don't do. I mean, I looked at all of them and not a single one of them qualifies. So, but that's what you're supposed to do if there was more than one or whatever. Now, this one might happen. It's another attack. It's combined arms. Strength of the unit and stack and other units is greater than 2 times the proximate unit stack. And then all active units proximate move to target. Other proximate units in the same core reinforce. All out of contact units in the same core redeploy. If greater than or equal to 5 steps are attacking, break off at A2, otherwise A1. Preserve line, VP hex, and they have a tank battalion. So this one might happen. So let's look at who's going to activate first, because they're going to be the lead. So 11, 10, it's going to be this guy. Nope, right here is a 7. So this 7 is going to activate first. 3, 6, 9, 11. He doesn't have double here. So he's not going to be able to attack him like last time. Now you would think, see, because since this guy's dispersed, he's not in zone of control, so he actually can come across this bridge for 6 points, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4. See, the 6 is not enough to be double. Now, this guy, they said that these guys can reinforce. So this is 3 points that can move here for 2 points of movement, because this is a broken terrain, and they're leaving an enemy zone of control. So 2 points of movement to go here, and then 1 more movement to go there. That makes it 9 to 4. And there you go. There's the 2x requirement. He has double the strength. Now this one is 3, 6, 9. He can't leave his position because he has to protect the line. Remember, that was one of the cardinal rules. This one, you would need 12 points to be able to attack him. They don't have it. And then you need way more than that to attack this stack. So those other guys can't do anything with this particular action. Now this guy was able to move forward, and that's what he's going to do. And we are going to have an attack on our 4 units here, and we might be in trouble. Okay, so let's go look at our cheat sheet for an allied attack sequence. Wherever that happens to be. Okay, so first thing is there's a tank battalion here, okay? So that's going to be in effect. And what the tank battalion does is they have armor, or they're considered to have armor, and they get to add 1 more to their strength. So we said that they had 9, they actually have 10 strength. Okay, so it says, so here is the player aid. That says basically the same thing. So let's use the player aid, see how well this goes. So we determine the target, move our units. We did that. Let's draw an allied command card, and we're going to use it for the combat cards tactic. So I'm going to draw it, and it's a no command, and we're on turn 20, so it's going to be an engineer. Now this is an offensive engineer, so if they're the attacker, it's going to add another 1 to their combat strength. In addition, remove any IP markers from the defender. And the defender is not allowed to build an IP with a combat tactic this turn. Okay, so that means he's at 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 strength to our 4. Not quite enough to get to 12. Okay, so the next one is we may play 1 German combat tactic. So we got this no command thing and the tank battalion. So let me get these out in front so you guys can see those. So he has an engineer and a tank battalion. Okay, we said that we were going to hold on to this card. We can play reinforced battle. Now, if we do reinforced battle, as a defender, you have to move your units onto the same hex that we're at. So, for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pips, so I can only put 2 more pips here. And I just happen to have a unit here with 2 pips that's way back, so he only has 3 movement though, and 1, 2, 3 is not enough to get there. I can go 1, and then the broken terrain is just 1. Ooh, I can do it. 1, 2, 3, cha-ching. So we just added 3 points of strength to our units, and that was well done. And remember, this was the card where I didn't want to really activate a single division. So so we played our 1 card, and that's all you're allowed to do is play 1 card. So now we draw combat chits. Okay, so now we have to, before we do that, we have to look at what kind of combat chits we draw. And so normally I've been doing the German. So this is the German combat chits. But for the Allies, number of chits is calculated as for German attacks. Stop drawing chits in any Allied attack after drawing the number required when any of the following occurs. The maximum is reached. The number of Allied hits equals the break-off number on the Allied card, which we'll check again. The number of German hits is sufficient to eliminate all defending units. That's always harder. I think they said it was the German steps +2. That might be true. Every combat tactic in an Allied attack adds +1 combat chit draw, including those on the action card and command cards, even if the tactic is identical. So they're saying that it's basically the same formula that we've been doing for Germans, except that every combat tactic they add is +1. That's the same as up here, so I don't know why it's listed twice. I guess it's just trying to say that even if it's identical, so it's just calling that out. So you can see there that there's 3 Allied units. Okay, so that's 3 chits right there. They're elite. That would be 4. And then as far as the tactics go, they have 2. They have tank battalion and engineers for 5 and 6. So they want to draw 6 chits, basically. Now, we happen to have used this other player guide, which I actually thought was really good. Let's see if it works out the same. And I know you're thinking, well, hey, you just use the player aid, just use the player aid, except I want to make sure. Yeah, that's exactly it. And what it does is it goes as far as explaining that your steps plus 2 must be the maximum hits you need to eliminate a unit. I didn't know that, so that's a nice formula to have. That's not on here. Okay, so the minimum would be the number of steps we have. We happen to have 6 steps. And I think we said they're going to draw 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're going to draw 6 chits. Actually, no. In the allies, you do 1 at a time. You always draw 1 at a time. Let me make sure. The player guide says you do the minimum based on the German, or whoever the defender steps are, which means the minimum would be 6. But I would swear this player guide said something different. So let me just look. Draw combat chits from the chip cut 1 by 1 and check to see if the situation on either side applies to the combat. If both, Yeah, so this guide here is saying that you draw chits from the combat chit cup 1 by 1. There is no minimum draw like there is when you're the German attacker. So I'm trying to understand why this player aid is saying something different. It says, yeah, see, look right here. Mandatory minimum chit draw equals the number of steps in the defending hex. And that doesn't say for German attacks. It just says for both attacks. For German attacks, you have a maximum chit draw. For Allied attacks, you have a maximum chit draw. There is no 1 by 1. But then again, there's this break-off thing. So maximum is reached. Number of allied hits. Stop drawing chits in an allied attack after drawing the minimum required when any of the... Oh, see? After drawing the minimum required. Interesting. So the minimum required is 6 in this case. So I just want to make sure I know some of you are saying to stop using this... solo player aid. I just want to make sure I yeah, that's this solo player aid does not say that you have to draw the minimum. It says you should do them 1 at a time. Interesting. So I'm going to assume that the player aid that came with the game is the better one. So we're going to draw 6. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a blue. So I'm going to stop. Five, 6. All right, so let's do these 1 at a time here. Only defender has combined arms. Not true. Only attacker has combined arms. Ooh, that might be true. It is true. We have no tanks. It's all infantry for us. Greater than 2 to 1. So they have 3, 6, 9. And we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is not greater than 2 to 1. It is less than 1.5 to 1. So they're taking a hit. So now we got to check this real quick. If greater than or equal to 5 steps are attacking, break off at A2. Okay, so they've taken 1 hit. We got 1 hit. Is the attacker green? They are not green. They're elite. And so they get another hit. Is the defender green? We actually have a green defender unit. Do we have any elites? No, we don't. Dang it. We get another hit. Artillery, none. Is it in woods or broken? It's in broken. So there's a second hit on them. Does only the attacker have armor? Or only the defender has armor? The attacker has armor. So the minimum draw actually hurt us, because if we would have stopped after 2 hits, like this said, and broke off, we wouldn't have gotten this last hit. So that's really interesting how they're both different. I'm going to check the rule book real quick, because if we were doing it the way the player, the PGG player guide says, we would have drew these one at a time, and as soon as we got to 2 hits, which is what this says, we break off, and this last one would not have been drawn. But if we did the player aid, it's saying that the minimum chits are the minimum chits. So I just want to check. Let's let the rulebook be our final guide. It does explain the Allied breakoff in its own section. 13.42. The rulebook says, after drawing the minimum required but before reaching the maximum, they could break off. Okay. So this hurts a little bit. The fact that they're doing another attack, because I've been desperately wanting to reinforce my yellow units here, and I think I'm going to definitely lose a few because that's being added to the mix. All right, so we are taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. So we don't get to do the thing like disrupt our units to absorb hits and stuff like that. We have to actually take our hits like a man. If we're in a town or city, we get to cancel 1. So I'm going to check real quick. We are in a town, so we do get to cancel 1. So this one's going to go in a cup. All right. Defending units may either retreat 1 hex to satisfy 1 hit or 2 hexes and become dispersed to satisfy 2 hits. All other hits must be satisfied by step loss. So I'm totally cool with retreating twice and getting dispersed to absorb 2 hits. So we would retreat 1, 2, like so. That absorbs 2 of the hits. So I'm going to take 2 of these, and they go in a cup. But we're still taking 2 more hits. So the red unit will take 1, because I don't want to lose my units here. So he'll take 1, and then I have to lose 1 of these units. And I'm looking at the divisions and making sure who has the most strength. This one for sure does. So I'm going to lose 1 of the 12 VGs. Yeah, I guess I am. So there you go. I had to take 2 hits. I had to retreat twice. I got all kinds of disruption going on. Holy cow, that was brutal. But here's the thing, they are now taking 2 hits. So it's not going to be pretty for them either. So let's manage that. Okay, assigning hits to defending allied units. Assigning hits to attacking allied units. Right here. The first hit is a step loss. The second hit is a step loss if the attacker has greater than 4 steps, otherwise disperse units. Third hit, if not yet dispersed, disperse the attackers. Fourth hit, second step loss only if 1 step loss so far, otherwise no further effect. Okay. I don't understand that one per se because I don't know how you can get to the 4th hit without there being at least 1 step loss. Okay. So they're saying one of these is taking a step loss, so we'll just hit the first one. Oh, nope, there's a priority. They give us one. The one with the most steps, and then the highest numbered multi-step unit. Then the highest numbered 1-step unit, if there's none. Apply the selector number criteria to all units in this stack. So this is a 4, a 7, and a 9. So the 9 takes the hit. Then they are greater than 4 steps, so they're going to take another hit. So they took 2 hits. Now we're on our 3rd hit. They're going to get dispersed. Oh, there is no 3rd hit, so they don't get dispersed. Okay, so then the allies advance after combat. So if we look here, they want to go here actually instead of there, which is interesting. So let's roll a die. I rolled a 5. Okay, this is 1 at a time. Each unit's doing this. So the first unit in ascending order. So this unit is moving into the VP hex. So we're going to lose 2 VPs, which actually could cause us to lose the game. So well done, allies. So that one's moving into there. Now this next one is interesting. So I'm going to roll a die for number 31. This one would have moved no matter what I rolled. So now I rolled a 2. And there's already 1 unit in that hex. So he's moving into there. And then this next one is also moving into there. So they're all going to go into the VP hex. It says that they won't advance if it creates a gap, which I'm not, well, it actually does create a gap. Or enlarges a gap. Unless it's into a VP hex, which it is. So, lone unit with no zone of control does not check for advance. So this last unit would have stayed there. The other one would have. Oh, nope. It's saying that these two together, since they're bracketed, they would have rolled once and moved together. They would never have gone separate. Wow, okay. It even says flat out that they will go into risk of being surrounded if it allows them to take a hold position of greater than 1. So they will do it. And so that's very interesting. Now, the one thing that was confusing for me is that I'm still confused with this table. So primary forward route or into a VP hex. I understand this is the big triangle or a VP hex. Well, the VP hex happens to be the same direction as the secondary forward route. So no matter what, he's going to advance if there's 0 units in the direction he wants to go. But here's the thing. The VP hex, or the forward route, which one do you choose in this situation? And I'm choosing the VPX because I think that it says that the advance would not create or enlarge a gap unless it's into a VP hex. So that's what I did. Now going back to this, I'm actually revisiting this situation. This is where they want to go. The VPX already has somebody in it, so that's not a guaranteed advance anymore. This one is a guaranteed advance, so I think these two guys would actually move forward like that. That's how they would do it. Now, the problem that creates is it creates a gap. And this unit here now has a gap because there's no zone of control by this guy. So all these units have a gap going through. When this was back 1 space, he was at least closing this gap right here. And yeah, we have a gap around the top, but we don't have a gap around the bottom. So this gets very complicated. And I think that for sure they would take the VP with at least one of their units. Since both of these are bracketed, they would not separate. So they have to, whatever they do, they're going to do together. I think that if gaps were not an issue, they would have moved to here instead of the VP, because this is the automatic advance spot, and then this one would have required a die roll to have a second unit go to the VP spot. But because of gap control and this guy having no zone of control at all, well, that changes all kinds of stuff, doesn't it? So if this guy has no zone of control, I would not have reinforced from him. Oh my gosh, I did this all wrong, didn't I? I did, folks. I did it all wrong. Okay. Here's what's going on. It was a situation like this, right? I moved forward to attack. That was not the problem because this was 6 points, right? I needed 9 to be able to do the attack. So what I did was I took this unit and moved him down. But the moment that I did that, reinforced battle, he lost all zone of control and I created all these gaps. That was the problem. I'm not allowed to do that. I have to preserve the line. I cannot reinforce a battle if it's going to cause gaps to be created. Preserve the line is the most important. So if I don't have, now remember the situation was I was back here and these were 4 units. That was the situation. This was the situation here. These were 6 units, 6 strength. I needed to have double these guys, so I needed 8. All right, are you following along now? So I didn't have the double, remember? And that's why I moved this guy. So when I moved him, I got to 9, which was double the 4, and that's what allowed me to do the attack. But I didn't factor in the fact that by moving him, I'm not protecting my lines. And so let's just do one final check to make sure that that really is the rule. And I'm not just making it up out of my butt. I've done that before. So reinforced battle. Select one active or inactive stack that did not move or attack in the current activation that could reach the combat in a single movement. If defending, the unit stack moves in, For allied, select the unit and stack with the lowest numbered unit if more than one. Preserving line and protecting VP hexes takes priority over reinforcing. Right there. See that? Takes priority. So this attack does not happen. That's what I'm trying to say to you. This guy cannot leave his post because if he does, the zone of control gets lost and then he's not preserving the line anymore. Now this guy can't leave his post for the exact same reason, or otherwise he might come over and help. So these two guys cannot attack. So we're not disrupted. I'm giving the strength back. And these guys weren't damaged. I gave them their strength back. We drew a lot of chits. We had a lot of fun. We had a big party. So I'm taking my card back because I never spent it. They're not able to do the attack, folks. So I'm very sorry about that. Now, this is 3, 6, 9, 11. That's not double what these guys are. Otherwise, they would try to attack here. So the attack doesn't happen. So I spent probably, 20 minutes on this. Okay, so the last possible action is move. Move to an unoccupied VP. Oh, I gotta get my 2 victory points back. All right, move to an unoccupied VP hex to which a German unit is proximate. If none, move to unoccupied proximate German town city. If none, move adjacent to nearest proximate German unit. If more than one, move towards the nearest forward direction, Preserve the line, avoid surround, protect VP hex. So nobody's doing anything, folks. There's nowhere to move, there's nothing to do. This guy would like to move here because they do, well, it's 1 to 39. This one's a 4. So he could, for example, this would be 2 movement points and then 1 more to go back. And so what they're doing is they're moving to a proximate. The problem is this isn't proximate. There's no German unit that can get here. Not when they were there. The only one the German unit can possibly get to is maybe this one. And I don't even think they could do that because I have armor over here and these are forests. So there's nowhere for him to move. He would like to, and the point I'm making here is he's in a spot that doesn't even have a hold value. These are hold values over here, so he would like to go to those. The problem is none of those are proximate to a German unit. And he is always moving. This move command requires them to move proximate. So they can't just go take a hold value because that hold value is more valuable than where they are now. Not unless it's closer to a German unit. And everybody is exactly where they want to be. So that was an extremely long turn to basically conclude they do nothing except, grab the wrong marker. They do nothing but reinforce their position, which stinks because we finally got rid of those, and now they get them back. And this guy already had his. So my apologies, it took so long, folks, but I think I got it right. And I think that's the part that I'm growing more and more confidence in, even though I'm still taking a convoluted path to get there. I think I'm getting to the right answers, which is the important part with this. So that concludes their turn, and I'm at an hour, so I'm gonna hit stop and I'll see you in 2 seconds. Stay awesome.